Derek, if you're available on the WebEx, could you do a sound check for me to make sure we can hear there?
Nicole, I can hear you loud and clear. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Derek.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, June 1, 2021 Urbandale City Council meeting. I will call the meeting to order. Yes, we'll take a call, please.
Carberry Montgomery? Here. Obra?
Here.
Caduce?
Here.
Hoagie?
Here.
Russell?
Here.
Thank you.
Please stand if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Urbandale is a national leader in character counts, endeavoring at all times to promote and model the principles of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting tonight's meeting, we expect that all participants select in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Item 2 is to approve the agendas. Or a motion? A second? So moved. Motion by Pogie, second by Carberry Montgomery. Discussion, please vote. All right, thank you. That passes. Item 3 is a proclamation. We do have a proclamation to rescind a previous proclamation, and it's actually a happy time to be able to read this proclamation at this point. So, whereas the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus disease pandemic on March 11, 2020, the President of the United States declared a national emergency to combat the outbreak of COVID-19 on March 13, 2020, and the Governor of Iowa proclaimed Iowa to be in a state of public health disaster emergency on March 17, 2020. And whereas the mayor of the city of Urbandale proclaimed a time of emergency existed within the city on March 24, 2020, and invoked Title 3, Chapter 30 of the Municipal Code of the city of Urbandale, and Section 372.14, Sub 2 of the Code of Iowa to govern through emergency proclamation. Whereas the city undertook precautions and worked with public health officials, the state of Iowa, Polk County, and local school districts, businesses, nonprofits, and municipal organizations to slow the spread of COVID-19, and to protect those most vulnerable in our community. And whereas the proclaimed time of emergency allowed the city to act quickly and decisively to protect the community from the COVID-19 pandemic, and it allowed our community to work together to meet the challenges of the pandemic. And whereas the COVID-19 pandemic is not over, but increased vaccination rates and declining infection rates have started to show a positive direction to ending this pandemic. Now therefore, I, Robert Andeweg, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, proclaim conditions have improved to a level that allows the time of emergency to be rescinded, and I do hereby state that the proclamation dated March 24, 2020 is hereby rescinded, effective immediately. So, just want to comment on that a little bit. I mean, this is, I've been a year plus, and we've learned a lot in this year. Thank goodness we had the ability to pivot and to do some things. I want to thank our staff for working so well in the circumstances, AJ, and we really pivoted, and it seemed like every day, for the first month was something new, and we learned as we went how best practices would be, but we kind of got into a groove, and you know, technology was at our side to help us with that, but now we're at a point, certainly that we can get somewhat back to a state where we were before, not, I don't know if it's ever going to be normal again, but certainly to a state where we can finally gather together and be in person and allow our residents to come petition their government personally. So I want to thank everybody for their ability to work and, as I said, pivot in this time of emergency. But it's good to be able to declare that over. And certainly, though, we can't be complacent, and I want to encourage everyone, if you haven't been vaccinated yet, please get vaccinated. It's the only way that we're going to completely end this pandemic. And we can certainly learn from this as we move forward. Certainly we'll have other challenges in the future, and we certainly can learn from this year-long challenge that we've had. So, thank you, everybody. Also, at this time, we do have a special presentation for the 4th of July committee, and I don't know, Tim or Mary, who do you want to? I'll recognize Mary Polson. Mary.
Here. Oh, the light has to be on.
Even for you, Mayor.
I'm a little slow. Anyway, we would like to present the mayor tonight with button number 1. This has been a long-standing tradition, and we're very happy to be continuing it face-to-face this year. There you go. Oh, do you need change?
No.
Oh, yes. Here.
Oh, we need to get. We need to
All right, anything else?
Is there anything more you want to add?
Well, no, we're really looking forward to the celebration this year. We are moving forward with our planning, moving forward cautiously, but we've still are planning having the carnival on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Fireworks are scheduled to go off the evening of the 4th, so kind of back to a new normal. And you'll notice on our button, our logo this year is Urbandale Strong Always. So it has a lot of meaning this year, I think.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you all so much.
Mary, can you just clarify for me the parade route?
The parade route will be the same it always has. We'll do our staging south of Douglas on the side streets on 70th, and then we'll parade north on 70th to Aurora, and Aurora to 86th, roughly.
Yeah, so the route's changed, but we're not staging on Oliver Smith this year?
We're staging on Oliver Smith,
Just like
Wilden, yeah, all of the same side streets will be our staging areas again.
Yeah. Do you want to add?
Discussion with the management of Burley Mall, and they could commit that we could use that for the staging area this year, but due to the construction that they're gonna have, we couldn't commit past this year. So as a committee, we've tabled it, we're gonna revisit it next year, and then we'll probably visit with the council, before we formalize everything, just so, we have a strong agreement with Burley Mall before we change the route on a permanent basis.
Absolutely.
And then the parade is on Saturday this year rather than on Sunday.
All right. Well, thank you to the 4th of July committee for getting us through this. Obviously, last year was not the same as we've always had, but we're getting back to a point again. As you said, we can at least do most of the activities in a way we used to.
And one other thing, you'll recall that 2 years ago we had a beer tent on the night of the 3rd.
It's going to be 2nd and 3rd.
Yes, so this year it was so successful, we're having the beer tent on the 2nd and 3rd. So we're kind of excited about some of the changes there.
And bands both nights.
Yes, bands both nights.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything the committee does. So please thank the rest of the committee. All right, we'll move on to item 4, the citizens forum. This is the opportunity to address the council on something that's not on a part of tonight's regular agenda. I think, Vern, did you want to speak at this point? Yeah, come up to the podium, please. Yeah. Come up to the podium and give your name. Well, that's all right. We'll give you time. Just give your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Vern Millsap, and the reason I'm here, I'm part of our community at Bassland, so we're concerned as to stuff that's going on at Bassland, and I knew, you guys knew that I knew that Matt Blake had left. Well, then I didn't realize it was going to be a temporary council position. We, a few of us at Bassland, looked over the information that we had, and we were just wondering why the council would hire Mr. Caduce, whoever he is. I don't even know who's who. You okay?
No, I mean.
And vice president on the board? Is that right? R&R?
Professionally, yeah, I serve as vice president now.
Well, I don't know, but me and my neighbors are wondering how that could be. I'm sorry, but we're just wondering how that could be that it happened to be you that's taken Matt Blake's position while he's gone, and that you sit on the board of R&R Realty. It just seems like it's a conflict of interest to us, if I may say. So that was my question, kind of. How could that happen? Because that land, obviously, has been looked at for quite some time. That it was going to be sold because Mrs. Best was in bad health and she died September the 11th, I may say. But we're, as a community, the ones that we've all talked to, we're just wondering how that could happen. So, if you understand where I'm going with the whole thing.
I can respond if you're done.
So how could that happen? I mean, that somebody that sits on the board of R&R be hired by the city, and then you guys are going to make plans to do something with that land.
Right now, the comments, I'll respond, but I'm not going to, this is not a back and forth as far as discussion.
Well, yes, I know that, Bob, but as the people that we've talked to, we're wondering how that could happen because it seems like a conflict of interest.
Well, first of all, we all have, we all have outside jobs. The city council position or mayor's position is not a full-time position. We all have other lives, and we all have conflicts at one time or the other. If Adam has a caduce, if Adam Caduce has a conflict on a particular issue, he's going to refrain from voting on that position. He will not vote on that. So we have a conflict of interest policy which we follow. Every council member is required to follow that. And if he has a conflict on a vote, he won't vote on that issue. Just like I wouldn't vote on any issue. I'm an attorney. I represent clients. Let me finish.
Right.
I represent clients. If I had a client here on an issue, I wouldn't be able to participate in a discussion on that, just like any of the other council members have a conflict. So we all have our daily lives. We're all, essentially, he was appointed in a very public process and selected by the rest of the council members.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Cool. All right, does anyone else like to address the council on something that's not a part of tonight's agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Item 5, the adoption of the minutes from the May 18 meeting.
Motion to approve minutes.
Okay, motion by Obert. Second by Russell. Discussion, please vote.
Now we got her tonight.
Can you please confirm the motions for me?
Excuse me?
Can you please confirm the motions for me? I apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion by Obert, second by Russell.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, that item passes. Item 6 is the consent agenda. There are 15 items for approval, including the 4th of July.
I'll move approval.
Okay, motion by Poggi,
Second.
second by Caduce. Discussion, please vote.
I apologize. I was one ahead on the last one, so this is the refresh of the
Okay, so we are,
consent
it's approved, okay, all right, thank you. All right, item 7, to establish public hearings. First is item 7.1, to establish a public hearing for 128th Street and Hickman Road, and John Larson, answer any questions if there are.
I move approval of resolution 153-2021.
Okay, Motion by Poggi. Second by Ober. Discussion, please vote. I'm not showing the same. That's Poggi, but there's Poggi and Ober. Oh, I'm sorry. That passes. I'm reading the screen wrong. All right.
Apologize, this is.
That's all
still
right.
has
I just,
some
it looks like it
for-
had been frozen, so I just looked at the change, so, all right. Item 8, planning and zoning items. First, we have one item, exclusive Timberline Village, Plat 1, final plat of 142nd Street and Douglas Parkway, and it introduces our community development director, Steve Franklin. Steve?
Okay, this is a final plat. Let's see if I can share here. There we go. Okay. This is the final plat for the southeast corner of the roundabout at 142nd and Douglas. So this is Douglas Parkway here to the north. This is 142nd Street. This is that entire lot that is on the southeast corner for the townhomes that are proposed there on that property. It's a total of 35 units. The preliminary plat and the site plan was approved by council back on September 8th. They've been working on all the public improvements and all the underground and getting to the point now where they wanted to get the final plat in here so that we can begin that review and get it to record and then be in a position to be able to issue building permits. Again, as I mentioned, there's 35 total lots that will be created, and you can see those located here. There's one floor plan that is closer to 142nd and Douglas, and there's another floor plan back in the back. The lot sizes range from 23 to 31 feet wide, depending on if you're an interior or an exterior unit. They are all going to be 2 stories, and they are required to have the typical 2-car garages. So access will be from a private street on Wilden here to the south, and then there'll be an access location off of Douglas as well. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions for Steve from the council?
Steve, is that a full access on Douglas?
It is.
And then, doesn't look like the street piece of this, the parking off-site, the kind of guest parking.
There are, as part of the preliminary plan and the site plan, there are some parking here in the middle for some additional parking spaces other than what's in the driveway. I don't remember how many there are, but that was part of the site plan.
Motion to approve resolution 54-2021.
Motion by Ober.
Second.
Second by Kudus. Discussion, please vote. Okay, thank you. That item passes. Item 9, regular agenda items. Item 9.1 is the fleet management system software agreement, and our fleet supervisor, Patrick Halsey, is, I believe that Patrick is on line somewhere. To introduce us, Patrick. Okay, John Larson, do you want to fill in for Patrick on this?
Sure, here, let's see if I can get to the presentation here quick.
John, I do have the presentation, I can share
Okay.
the screen here.
Sure. All right, thank you. So, yep, this is looking to purchase some fleet maintenance software. If you can go to the next one here, Nicole. Basically, we would use this to keep track of our entire fleet, which is made up of 230 vehicles, trailers, and other equipment with an approximate value of about $16 million. Again, we also have a maintenance budget of roughly $800,000 and an annual fuel cost of $250,000 and almost a $1.4 million equipment replacement contribution. You can go to the next one, Nicole. So we do have 3 similar type maintenance software, or I should say asset softwares within the city. So we reviewed the 3 that we have, collected data, cartograph, and Impulse 9. Those were between the police station, a lot of engineering, and then, our building maintenance. Go to the next one, Nicole. So the reason we had selected our collected data is one, being web-based, which will make it user-friendly for us. It does work with our existing fuel system, and it does let us work within work orders and track our history and costs. It also lets us do preventative maintenance, which will allow us to, when a vehicle comes in and gets gas, we'll be able to track it and know when to give an alert that it needs to come in and have maintenance work done on it. I think it's the next one, Nicole. So with this software, it'll be $5,000 to do the initial setup, and then for the next 3 years, it'd be $18,650 for the maintenance portion of it. And with that, I'd be glad to answer your question.
Okay. Any questions for John? All right. None.
I would move council letter 6743.
All right. Motion by Russell. Second. Second by Pogge. Discussion. Please vote. All right, that item passes. Item 9.2 is considered equipment purchase for backhoes. And John, answer any questions if there are on that.
Unless John is ready for a motion. Okay. Yeah, I'll move council letter 6738.
Motion by Caduce.
Second.
Second by Albright. Discussion, please vote.
Guess we could ride the bucket of these in the parade. We could ride the bucket of those for the parade.
No. Item 9.3 is to consider the equipment purchase for the compact wheel loader.
I'm happy to listen to any questions. I'll make a motion. Council letter 6739.
Okay. Motion by Caduce. Second by Albright. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 9.4 is consider the purchase of the solid waste containers. Again, John, answer any questions if there are.
I'll clean up the trash and move council letter 6741.
Motion by Caduce.
Second.
Second by Albright. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 9.5 is to consider the site preparation assistance policy, and introducing this is our Assistant City Manager, Economic Development Director, Curtis Brown. Curtis?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. If you can bear with me one moment while we get this taken care of. Okay. If anybody knows how to make the preview go away, please tell me.
Yes, display settings.
You got it?
Oh, you'll have to try it, but the display settings drop down on the top left.
Display settings. Ta-da. Get this out of the way. Okay. We may have to deal with that gray box here. Thank you very much for a minute to talk with you about this newly proposed policy. There are a number of sites across Urbandale that are owned by perhaps non-development firms, private owners, or it's been in the family a long time. There may be even sites that are owned by developers or brokers who do this day to day, but they haven't moved forward with preparing conceptual plans for the site. What we know is that planning on a site adds value to it, and when sites are planned and more development ready, that is helpful for Urbandale as well. We also know that, of course, the infrastructure around the site, the streets, the sewer, the water, etc., the lay of the land and markets, whether an area of town the site might be in or changing market dynamics can all influence a site. And so what we're proposing here is a policy that will help property owners to advance the preparedness of the site by preparing conceptual plans and then being able to see that potential with an illustration. To use the old phrase, a picture is often worth 1,000 words. Here is just an example. I pulled more or less at random looking for an example to show you that wasn't Urbandale, to show how this happens around the metro. Here's a site at Northeast 14th and Euclid. You can see the 27 or so acres there bounded in the dashed yellow. But then the conceptual plan takes into consideration all the other factors, the infrastructure, the market, its location, etc., and shows to the community and to interested parties how development might occur on the site. Another couple examples closer to home. This is up on Wilden Drive at the southwest quadrant of the interchange. And this happens to be land owned by R&R, but it gives a good conceptual example of you take that site, which is just a bare parcel, but then show how the infrastructure could lay out on the site. Another example on the other side of the freeway, this would be the Paragon Business Park. So you see the parcels, but then a rendering like this helps a prospect understand how the site can work, what the uses could be, and then importantly, this can be a step in preparing the zoning for a site. So once we know the massing of buildings that can be accommodated on a site, the amount of parking, required detention, all of those things can serve to inform what the zoning can and should be for a site. So what we propose to do is to assist property owners in taking that next step by really taking the heavy load in two ways off of them. One is the actual technical work of issuing an RFP to find a planning and zoning firm, to write those, to evaluate those, and then to write a contract with the firm. That's something that the city has deep experience in. We do it dozens of times a year. Whereas a family who owns a plot of land, that might not occur to them how to take those steps. The second is that the process we estimate costs around $15,000 to $20,000. That might not be cash that the owner is ready to outlay. So what we can do is to upfront that cost by paying the professional fees, but then to enter into an agreement and a promissory note that gets that money paid back to the city at a very low interest rate, 2% APR, which brings some investment of the property owner into the process and also motivates a sale as well. And we would, of course, partner with the property owner. This is still their property. We're not taking it over in any way. And so the property owner would have input into the process with regard to firm, with regard to scope of services, etc. This really is a collaboration, not the city taking the lead on something that the owner doesn't want to do. And then the repayment would happen within 10 years, and it would happen this way. And thanks to Bob Lady for his advice on this, we would record the agreement and the promissory note. we can also record a lien on the property, which is a pretty secure way of making sure that if there's a transaction, you get paid. So if 5 years went by and there hadn't yet been a transaction on the property or a building permit for a permanent non-accessory structure on the site, if we got to 5 years, the property owner would owe us 50% of what we afforded. If another 5 years went by and we were at year 10 and there still hadn't been a transaction or a building permit, we'd have the full balance paid. So in any event, whenever there is any type of transaction or building permit on the property, the full amount would come back. So Aaron DeYoung and I have worked on this. We vetted it with the advisory board, who has reviewed it, endorsed it as a good idea to send to the council as well. The companion item on this, which is the last item on the agenda, and I am aware of the time, is to amend the revolving loan fund administrative guidelines. And the reason we had to do that was simply because right now the RLF guidelines don't anticipate that we would expend or essentially make a loan for this policy. So it adds the site preparation assistance policy as an allowable use for the revolving loan fund. It identifies another security option that's fighting a lien, which we hadn't anticipated before in our other loans. And then, while we could have done this at the staff level, we thought since we're opening up the guidelines, very minor policy housekeeping, specifically calculating the prevailing wage for the regional area. We had only as Iowa Workforce Development, we added Iowa Economic Development Authority and removed a hyperlink that can break. So those are the changes we made to the RLF guidelines. And with that, be happy to take any questions. And those that are too hard, we'll turn to Aaron as well. So,
All right. Thank you, Curtis. Any questions for Curtis on this?
I have a couple of questions. Sure. First one is, how much do we have in our revolving loan fund to accomplish this?
sure. So every year, we budget $100,000 for loans to be made. And then, in the last couple of years, we haven't used that. If we needed to exceed the $100,000, then we could enter into a budget amendment for that. The good news is that all of our loans are current. I think I don't even want to quote the number, but all of our loans are current right now.
Well, and my question is more, do we need to raise the amount in the future we contribute to the revolving loan fund? Because how many pieces do you anticipate in a year doing? You know, 100 grand would be 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope it's that successful. We are talking right now with several property owners, so 3 to 4 that are thinking about taking advantage of this. Whether they actually take the step to write the agreement with us and the promissory note is to be seen. But certainly, we're going to learn things about this. I wouldn't be surprised if we need to come back with slight tweaks to the policy at some point here as we unroll this, because it's really a pilot. And so a short way to answer your question would be to say, we can see how things go in the first half year or so, and if we need to adjust at budget time, we can certainly look at that and work with Nikki.
Then my last question is, we've all had maybe a little bit of experience. Sometimes it's hard to change city policies, and 2% loan may sound fine now, but in 3 years, when interest rates are the normal 5 to 6, it's really a subsidy that we're giving. Mm-hmm. Is there any way we could change it so you use a floating rate, say 0.5% over the 10-year treasury note or something like that?
I guess I had it is just whatever a 5-year CD rate is what I was looking at. I was going to make the same suggestion of whatever Nikki's current 5-year CD bid is what the promissory note would be written at. So
something like that would keep the program intact, but would prevent us from, 10 years from now, people coming in and borrow money at 2%. Interest rates are back in the 14 to 15% that a few of us remember.
Yeah, that makes sense. What I think what's helpful about a specific instrument to peg to is that it's a known entity. So if the council agrees on the rate on a 5-year CD that we're receiving to set that as the loan rate, we can certainly do that.
And we can even set it once a year. I just don't want it to be locked in stone for years, 2%.
Okay. Sure. And so that would just, if and when someone makes the motion to amend the policy that way, we'll make sure that gets inserted into the text.
I guess I understand our desire to keep up with the rate of the CDs, but aren't we trying to encourage this? And so wouldn't offering it at a lower rate than they could borrow the money for be a good thing? I don't know if I'm asking you that or I'm making a general statement.
And I guess I'd say that if we're doing it at our CD rate, that should be 3 to 4% below what a bank would loan that. So, because a bank's gonna have a 3 to 4% interest margin. So that's still cheaper than a bank, but not harming what we would have put the dollars to work at in a CD.
Just trying to cover our.
So we're essentially giving it at a wholesale rate.
Right.
I'm fine with the 2%, but I'm kind of a sucker for that.
So current rate would be around 1.75 if we did the 5-year CD rate. For the 5-year. Let's say a 5-year CD.
Our last CD that we went out for was under 1%. But that was not for a 5-year length, so.
Are we still on? I have a couple other questions. Do you anticipate, Curtis, like a portion of the site preparation process that would be best for this, or is it just until the amount runs out? Is it, from conceptual to full set architectural? Any vision in mind for that?
So we really want to be right around that $20,000 mark. We've heard anecdotal, gosh, quote, we've spent more than that on other things. We really just want to get to a spot where we can illustrate what is not being illustrated now, and to produce a couple renderings, 2D, 3D renderings of one concept. So we don't want to get deep into architectural. We also want to provide flexibility as well, because using those illustrations that I showed you, I think the market knows that these are conceptual illustrations, so they can change. So we want to be careful about how much we spend on it. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, that's, and I kind of thought I might know a little bit of the answer before I asked it, but I wanted to clarify. No, I like the program. Having been involved with the revolving loan fund for a lot of years, I think this is a great use for it, and hopefully will provide a little more visual look at some of our undeveloped sites yet. Great, I like it.
All right.
I'd be happy to move the motion. I like the idea of pegging it to a floating interest rate so that we know. I like the idea of providing a little better incentive. So it's cheaper than you can get it from a bank, still provides an incentive to take advantage of the dollars. I think the interest rate, this follow is going to be a really small piece of this. I don't think anybody's going to take advantage of it because the interest rate, they're going to take advantage of it because it's $20,000 towards development costs. So I guess I'd be happy to move Council Letter 6751, pending resolution on a proper metric, if it's the 5-year CD rate, whatever, is that what we want to use?
The only clarification is, I think this is the first one is 6733, the council letter on this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I moved Council Letter 6733.
Okay. With
the caveat that it's pegged to a floating interest rate, and I would propose the 5-year CD rate.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion by Caduce, second by Over. Any further discussion? None, please vote. Okay, that passes. Item 9.6 is to consider the revolving loan fund program administrative guidelines.
I'll make the motion for council letter 6751 involving.
Just had a quick question. So, just, were there any other changes other than to get it for the site prep loan policy in this?
Only that housekeeping change I mentioned of the wage for Polk County and the region could come from IDA or IWD. We took out a hyperlink that could break.
I'll second Caduceus motion.
Okay, motion by Caduce, second by Hobart. Any further discussion? Please vote. All right, thank you. That item passes. All right, that takes us to the end of our regular agenda. Did you have anything tonight?
Thank you.
Bridget.
A few things. First, I wanted to congratulate the Waukee girls track team for their 5th straight state championship. I know there were several girls from Urbandale on the team. Because Ron's not promoting it, I will make another pitch for anyone to attend the landfill tour. I cannot say enough about how much my family and myself enjoyed that. I think it's coming up on Saturday from 3 to 5. Sorry to step on your glory there, but young and old alike, I would highly recommend it. And then you can go on out to Goldie's and Prairie City. So. Today at our DART meeting, we renewed the contract for our CEO, Elizabeth Pursuit. We were able to finally bring her salary up to the median for the comparable cities and entities that we were looking at, plus give her a merit raise. I'm also very excited for the return of in-person and outdoor events at the library. They were wildly successful today in passing out their summer reading materials. Luckily, I came at 3:30 instead of 5:45 like I was planning. But no, I'm super excited. I've got my girls signed up for a tie-dye program here in the next couple weeks. I know they're doing story time in the park. So lots of exciting things to get us back into the normal while still recognizing that a lot of our kiddos are still not vaccinated. And then I just wanted to bring up an issue, not an issue, but something that was in the news over the last couple of weeks. In Des Moines, they're looking into selling up or buying a hotel. I think you're shaking your head like you know what I'm talking about. No, Curtis is for homeless transitional housing. And what? Yes. I think there are, that is Urbandale adjacent. But I think there could possibly be some hotels elsewhere in Urbandale that have met the end of their useful life or close to it. So I'd like to see, kind of follow along that as it progresses and see if that's something that we could look at here in Urbandale on a few of our more outdated hotels. I think it's an excellent model that we've seen nationwide having a great deal of success. So if we can continue to replicate it here in Central Iowa, that would be fantastic. That's all.
Thank you, Bridget. Adam?
Just have the tourist rash on our calendar too.
David? Adam, all right. Well, let's see. I don't think everything is as well. I don't think I do either, so. With that, I'll ask for a motion in a second to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.